Resource management is one of the key use cases that PMOs are looking to solve for. And yet, if you're already resource constrained, you can't add another big, heavy process to your workload. So instead, you need resource management that's flexible and adapts to every stage of your project planning process so that you get meaningful capacity forecasting data without wasting any time. Let's jump into a project and see what building out your resource plan for a single project looks like within Prism. Jumping into my project right here, I'm going to start building out that team. And in order to build out my team, I need to understand people's resourcing and capacity and availability. Now within Prism, I can build out my team based on the personnel, and I can filter based on things like their role, or what part of the organization they fall under, or even who their manager is. But maybe it's early days in my project, and I don't even know who the folks are going to be in my project. Maybe this is next year planning. And so instead, I want to do it just simply based on their role itself. We'll say for my project, it's client-facing, so we'll need a client lead, we'll need a database admin, and we'll need an executive stakeholder, a director for our project. Let's add those to our team. Now, in some project management solutions, before you can start getting meaningful resource data and drawing down capacity, I have to build out the entire project work plan and task assignments and estimate hours and do a ton of work before I even know if this project is actually going to get approved or not. If it doesn't, that was a tremendous amount of time that I just wasted. But on the other hand, if this project does get approved, I do need to make sure I've reserved those resources so that we can deliver. So how do I start to draw down resources in the future without spending a ton of time, but make sure that I'm set up for success from a capacity forecasting standpoint? Well, you can do that via allocation at the project level. So I can start by simply reserving future resources at the project level before I've ever even assigned anyone to the role. Let's say this project starts next year. And we'll say for the first 6 months or so, I need to determine how much I need from this particular role. I can see that Prism calculates in real time what this role has in terms of availability and capacity and what other projects are in flight during that time, so I know I've got some room to spare. I'll say for starters, for the first 6 months, I'm going to take 25% of an FTE, or 10 hours. Maybe for the next 6 months, things really ramp up and I need 35 hours a week. And then finally, we close out our project and I just need an hour a week. And so in just a couple of clicks, I've easily built out my resource plan for that role. I've reserved that future capacity, and then eventually when I do build out the project work plan, Prism will automatically adapt to the more granular and specific data. So I save time while still getting meaningful capacity forecasting data when I'm just in the planning phase. When I actually go and build out the project, none of that work was wasted, and Prism automatically adapts when more specific and better information is available. Now, resourcing a single project can be challenging, but relatively straightforward. It's resourcing across multiple projects that can be really tricky. And so how do we manage that within Prism? We do that via portfolios. Now, a portfolio is a combination of multiple different projects. It can be any number, and it can be any combination of projects. Maybe projects that are interrelated and roll up to a big strategic initiative, or it's just the projects that I have for the next quarter or the next year. And you can have any combination of portfolios. And this gives me a view of a timeline and roadmap of my projects, all the folks that are within my project's team, and the resourcing across all of the projects that those folks are working on. So I can get a view for the people that are participating in these projects, which all add up to my portfolio, and whether there are going to be bottlenecks and who we may need to hire for. I can look at this from a personnel perspective, but maybe I want to look at it from a role perspective, because this again might just be for future planning. And I flip from hours to FTEs. Now this essentially becomes my hiring plan for the next year. I know that for certain roles, if we're going to be able to commit to and deliver on the projects that we've been discussing, I'm going to need to hire at least a few more headcount in order to deliver on what we've agreed to. And this gives me that real data in real time in order to make the case for hiring for these particular roles backed by data. And so with Prism, we give you real-time visibility into your resource management and capacity forecasting. Right at your fingertips while you're building out a project, super easily in just a couple of clicks, more granular data as you start to build out the project work plan, and across multiple different projects when you build out a portfolio. If you'd like to learn more about portfolio capabilities, including what-if scenario planning and resource leveling, check out our video on portfolio management. Prism PPM is the project portfolio management solution that successful organizations use to manage their projects more efficiently, ensure alignment with high-level objectives, and mature their PMO practices. Schedule a demo to see more.